Это не соответствует действительности, ни то, ни другое. Владимир Путин не хочет восстановить СССР, потому что это невозможно. И он сам об этом неоднократно говорил. И говорить об этом — это не проявлять уважение, собственно, к нашим партнерам, к нашим союзникам по СНГ, по более продвинутым формам интеграции. По всей видимости, господин Мерц об этом не знает.
The Kremlin pushes back against growing alarm in Europe, insisting that Vladimir Putin has no intention of restoring the Soviet Union or launching an attack on NATO. On Tuesday, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov dismissed remarks from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who had warned that Russia seeks to bring back the Soviet era and pose a direct threat to NATO members. Peskov called such claims not true and even complete stupidity. Peskov argued that the idea of restoring the Soviet Union is impossible and reiterated that Putin has said as much repeatedly over the years. He added that suggestions Russia is preparing an attack on NATO disregard basic facts, NATO's overwhelming conventional military superiority over Moscow. But critics and many Western leaders remain unconvinced. They warned that a victorious campaign in Ukraine could embolden Moscow to pursue aggressive ambitions once again. As the Russia-Ukraine war completes 4 years in February, U.S. President Donald Trump has unleashed his most extensive effort to end the conflict. Last week, Trump sent his special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner to Moscow to hold talks with Putin. Witkoff and Kushner then held several meetings with senior Ukrainian officials in Florida in an attempt to iron out the differences over a plan that has been criticized for heavily favoring Moscow, AP reported.
Mr. President, what's the next step in Russia-Ukraine talks? What's your next step in Russia-Ukraine talks after last week's negotiations?
So we've been speaking to President Putin, and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelensky, President Zelensky. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it. So someday you'll explain that one to me, Jeff.
Russia wants all the areas in 4 key regions that his forces have seized and Crimea, which it annexed in 2014, be recognized as Russian land. Putin has also demanded that Zelensky's forces withdraw from some areas in the east that have not been captured. He has also insisted that Ukraine abandon its bid to join NATO, limit the size of its army, grant official status to the Russian language, and recognize the Russian Orthodox Church. On the other hand, Zelensky, who met European allies on Monday, said he is ready to halt the fighting along the existing front line, though it would not officially cede territory currently under Russian control. It has also rejected Moscow's demands that it surrender other land Russia has not been able to take by force and drop its bid for NATO membership.
I think that is very important now to organize such meeting, to meet and discuss very sensitive issues regarding to peace talks, what we had in the United States and between us, and our team came back, and I think that they will brief us, after talks with the American team and after talks of Americans with Russians. I think there are a lot of what we have to discuss, to speak about, so things which are very important for today. I think unity between Europe and Ukraine, and also unity between Europe, Ukraine, and the United States. There are some things which we can't manage without Americans, things which we can't manage without Europe, and that's why we need to make some important decisions.
Zelensky and his European allies have repeatedly accused Putin of slow-walking the talks to allow his forces more time to press ahead with the invasion. For now, the Kremlin wants to frame the debate as a matter of diplomacy and security architecture, not territorial revanchism. Still, with the war in Ukraine, Western distrust runs deep, and any Russian move will be measured against decades of past aggression. As tensions simmer across Europe, The question remains, is this denial a genuine shift in Moscow, or just another chapter in a long history of strategic ambiguity?